He slips into coma to battle to survive COVID-19 as serving Lagos senator dies of high blood pressure. And on the foreign scene, United States withdraws emergency use of chloroquine to treat coronavirus. Now the details. Members of the National Association of Resident Doctors have commenced on an indefinite nationwide strike. NARD President Dr. Aliyu Sokomba announced this in a briefing while addressing a media briefing in Abuja, where he noted that the union has decided to exempt its members working in various COVID-19 isolation and treatment centers across the country. He explained that the union took the decision to go on strike as a result of the failed series of meetings between the doctors and the federal government in the last 2 weeks.
NEC observed the insincerity of the appointees of the executive arm of government in paying the outstanding salary shortfall of 2014, 2015, 2016 under the guise of the so-called appeal of the National Industrial Court judgment. And at the end of the meeting, the NEC resolved to proceed on an indefinite nationwide strike action from today, the 15th of June 2020, by 12:01 a.m. with the exemption of our members attending to COVID-19 patients at designated COVID-19 treatment and isolation centers for the next 2 weeks. After which, if things remain the same, they shall also be co-opted to join the strike.
All resident doctors, medical officers below the rank of principal medical officer in-house officers across all the federal and state hospitals in Nigeria expected to join the strike. Meanwhile, the National Association of Resident Doctors at the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, UPTH, has said they will not join the nationwide strike as declared by the national body. President of the resident doctors at UPTH, Samuel Ame, while addressing newsmen in Port Harcourt, said the decision was in the best interest of residents of the state. He added that the leadership of NMA is working with the federal government on modalities to meet the demands. The president of resident doctors of the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital, Ame Samuel Ame, while addressing newsmen, said the decision was in the best interest of the residents of the state, adding that the leadership of NMA is working with the federal government on modalities to meet the demand.
Well, let it be stated that we have decided that for now we would not be embarking on the nationwide strike as a local chapter, and the reasons are not far-fetched. It has to do with the fact that we understand that the leadership of Nigerian Medical Association are actually working on and negotiating with the federal government on modalities to actualize some of those demands, and the fact that we also recognize the peculiarity of the situation in UPTH as well as the country at large. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic and the situation it has created, we realize that health workers, not just doctors, but all health workers are playing an essential role in helping to stem the tide of the COVID-19 and to reduce the direct impact of COVID-19 on all patients within the country. The demands made by the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, we understand them and we fully agree with them. However, when putting everything together, we've seen that it would be in the best interest of the general population right now, especially those in River State.
Correspondent Alfred Alert reports that Ame also denied rumors of any faction or group of resident doctors of the University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital. In the meantime, River State Governor Nyesom Wike has accused the chairman of Nigerian Medical Association, NMA, in the state, Obu Belebara Adeniyi, of politicizing the fight against coronavirus in the state. Governor Wike made the accusation while briefing newsmen at Government House, Port Harcourt. He said his administration has provided all that is needed to fight COVID-19 in River State.
The chairman of NMA River State branch, with all due respect, is a civil servant, and she is the head of the Element Treatment Center. Now, forgetting that she's a civil servant, but coming under the union of NMA to give wrong information to members of the public that she's not supposed to do. I'm sure you must have read the Commissioner of Health. I have given everything required or requested by the ministry in the infection because they have not increased the allowance as you're talking about. It is not correct. The number she gave is not correct. Everybody knows what I have suffered in terms of sabotage. All of them were involved in criticizing government. Don't lock down, don't lock down. She has now decided to be a politician. And so for me, I welcome her in the political arena. If she knows what is involved in politics, I hope she will be able to stand.
The Nigerian Medical Association in Rivers State had lamented the lack of personal protective equipment for their members in frontline duty in the fight against COVID-19 in the state. The association also disclosed that 22 of its members and 60 other health workers in the state had tested positive for coronavirus, called on the state to urgently increase the hazard allowance for doctors under the state government's employment. In another development, River State Governor Nyesom Wike has taken a swipe at the Nigerian Governors Forum over its silence in the disqualification of Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki from contesting in the primary election of the All Progressive Congress in Edo State. Governor Wike, who spoke during a briefing in Port, said the NGF has become a begging forum. He also wondered how a sitting governor would be disqualified from contesting an election while the Governors Forum folded its hands and watched, including the Progressive Governors Forum. Governor Wike accused the NGF of fighting only for its interests, for the interests of the ruling All Progressive Congress, recalling how the forum was also silenced when his security aides were removed from him a few years back.
Ordinarily, I won't speak about this because I have no business with it. Ordinarily. But why it concerns me and why I should speak about it is because it's most unfortunate. The Governors Forum is now a toothless bulldog. They can only bark, but they cannot bite. They can only bark, but they cannot bite. It's unfortunate. And I belong to such a forum that will bark and cannot bite. It's most unfortunate. Since APC took over governance and as the leadership of Governors Forum, everything died. Governor Forum is no longer the Governor Forum we used to have. That Obaseki is from one of the most reputable families who is saying that a sitting governor, a man who attended Nigerian Premier University, has a defective certificate. Who is this person? A man who does not have certificate. He is saying that my own is defective. At least me I have is defective. You don't have. You see how the country is? That APC governors up till now cannot come out to say we can't take this.
The governor also noted that he would be happy if Obaseki decides to come to the People's Democratic Party, but added that he securing the governorship ticket of the party will depend on the PDP in Edo State. Meanwhile, National Chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Adams Oshomole, has led some members of the party's National Working Committee to a meeting with the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari. The meeting was believed to be a part of efforts to resolve the crisis engulfing the ruling party as a result of the disqualification of the Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki from participating in the governorship primary of the party in the state. Governor Obaseki has said he would announce his next line of action on his bid for a second term in office after meeting the President, Muhammadu Buhari. Governor Nyesom Wike has sacked the managing director of the Rivers State Microfinance Agency, Ipalibo Sogulis. Commissioner for Information and Communication, Paulina Insirim, said Ipalibo was sacked for alleged fraud. According to Insirim, other senior officials dismissed by Governor Wike for the same alleged offense are the head of SMEs, Nimi Hari, head of Finance and Accounts, Okele Okoji, and the internal auditor, Sofiri Koko. A statement adds that other heads of departments of the River State Microfinance Agency are to be arrested for further investigation. To other stories now, the Rivers Civil Society Organization have rejected the planned online examination by the Ignatius Ajuru University of Education after a claimed failure of mock exam. And the spokesman of Reef School, Solomon Lenu, said with the failure of the mock exams, the institution is not ready to carry out online-based exams. Lenu also called the process and anti-students intended exams, arguing that it is beyond rationalization.
The prompting factor of the school's management to push forward with this anti-students intended e-exam against all odds is something that is beyond common rationalization. Coming at a time when the global community and advanced nations are still experimenting the viability of this new educational challenge posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, more advanced countries are making the online-based exam optional for students in places with even more advanced amenities. But here in Rivers State, with our epileptic and near non-existent infrastructure, the school's management of Ignatius Ajuru University has decided to make it compulsory without an option and combining same with threats and draconian measures.
The Commission for the Defense of Human Rights, CDHR, has asked the River State Police Command to investigate and arrest 6 members of the Ubima Security and Peace Advisory Committee, UBSPAC, over the alleged murder of Kingsley Amadi. The rights group made the call in a petition to the Commissioner of Police following complaints by the family of late Kingsley Amadi. Chairman of CDHR in River State, Paul Onoa, said the call for the arrest of the UBSPAC members is for the police to be able to ascertain the motive behind the death of Kingsley and consequently persecutes the local vigilante officials.
We also call on the Commissioner of Police that in his prompt action to taking issues of this kind should come and equally make a serious investigation and take raw action for those who are at large in this matter, because we are still looking at some of them who are at large. So we are calling on the Commissioner of Police to help in investigating this matter and call on the people of Ubima community to encourage the police and security agencies in order to investigate this matter and get those who are involved in the killing of Osrochi Amadi.
On her part, elder sister to the late Kingsley Amadi, Happiness Amadi, who narrated how her brother was allegedly killed, asked authorities to ban the activities of UBSPAC before more people are extrajudicially killed.
I'm here to say that Ubima community should please bring those people that are responsible for my brother's death. As it stands now, the death of my brother has removed so many things in our body. So if they said that they will not say anything concerning this boy's death, that means we are still in trouble. So what I'm begging to everyone to put head together to make sure they bring those people that are among.
Kingsley Amadi was killed 2 weeks ago at Ubima in a Queer local government area of River State. You're listening to the World News on Today95.1 FM, Voice of the People. After the break, more news, foreign and sports stories. Just stay with us.
Every day, every hour, when the big stories break, depend on our 24-hour news team to bring you the latest. Today, 95.1 FM.
95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
And we're back.
Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to the World News on Today 95.1 FM. The traditional institution in Iche nationality has called on Nigerians to obey government instructions in the fight against COVID-19. The paramount ruler of Iche, His Eminence Ochie Emmanuel Burum, made the call in an interview with newsmen. Eze Burum expressed hope that the virus would eventually go away the same way it came.
All we have to do is to observe all the government instructions, put it in practice, and help the government. The government is working hard to their own ability. What remains for the people to cooperate with the government instructions. The human beings who are the players, you see, are to be restructured. So the answer is not to restructure in this country. It's the human being we should restructure. So, in fact, I should suggest that government should set up institutions where present and future leaders will be sent to go and learn where to run a successful government, which Almighty God will be happy with us for getting humanity.
The Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria (FAN) has advised passengers to arrive at airport at least 3 hours before flight time. The directive comes ahead of the resumption of commercial flights in the country. FAN made this known as part of the new protocol for the restart of flights amidst the coronavirus pandemic. Making the announcement via its Twitter handle, the authorities said that the early arrival by travelers would enable efficient checks and screening before boarding. And FAN also urged travelers to maintain 2 meters distance from each other at the airport, while noting that persons not wearing their face masks will not be allowed into airport premises. In the meantime, the federal government has suspended private jet airline executive jet service for violating aviation rules. The airline had flown Nigerian artist Naira Marley to Abuja from Lagos to hold a concert against the rules of the Nigerian Center for Disease Control. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika, who announced the suspension in Abuja, said the Aviation Ministry had approved the jet to convey a judge who was on an essential duty, but was surprised that the jet was used to convey a musician. He also added that the pilot of the aircraft would be sanctioned.
The flight from the application was to convey Honorable Justice Adepobe Okoji from Lagos to Abuja and back to Lagos for an official assignment. And in this challenging time, in our wisdom, we considered judiciary to be part of essential service to be delivered. Having to move the Honorable Justice from Lagos to Abuja was in order. The operator is Executive Jet Services. The operation is a clear violation of our approval, to which we take very seriously. So Executive Air Services operations are hereby suspended indefinitely. We will also fine them maximally according to the law. The captain of the flight will also be sanctioned for giving wrong information to the control tower, and also appropriately in accordance with our law. Now, it seems also that people are not tired of trying our resolve. Well, we also are not tired of living and rising up to the challenge.
The Federal Ministry of Health says it will send a team to Cross River to help the state in the fight against COVID-19. The Minister of Health, Osage Hanuri, disclosed this in Abuja during a briefing of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19. The minister said the move is part of the collaborative efforts between federal government and state governments in the fight against the virus. He also noted that similar action will be taken with respect to the Kogi state.
We are collaborating with states to strengthen the response according to needs. An arrangement has been reached to send such a collaborative team to Cross River State in the next few days to complement the work of the state government there. Apart from fighting COVID-19, the state government is also engaged in border patrol work because of the border they share with Cameroon and the unrest on that side of the border. The team to Cross River will be led by the Executive Director of National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Pfizer, and will engage in a technical handshake with the State Emergency Operating Center.
This report says the immediate past Oyo State Governor Abiola Ajimobi has slipped into coma. It was gathered that Senator Ajimobi was diagnosed of the dreaded coronavirus pandemic about 17 days ago and slipped into unconsciousness on June 8, while doctors have since been battling to revive him. Former Governor Ajimobi, who is the Deputy National Chairman of the ruling All Progressive Congress, is said to be a diabetic patient. He was reported to have taken ill in Abuja late May 2020, allegedly after attending one of the political meetings with his party chieftains. The senator representing Lagos A Senatorial District, Bayo Sino, is dead. The lawmaker, popularly known as Peperito, passed on Monday morning. Reports say the senator has been suffering high blood pressure for years, and it is not yet confirmed if the Lagos senator died of COVID-19. Meanwhile, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adumo, says incidents of rape and other gender-based violence escalated during the COVID-19 lockdown. Adumo, who gave an update on cases of sexual violence, reports that in parts of the country while briefing State House correspondents after a closed-door meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari at the Presidential Villa in Abuja, disclosed that between January and May, about 717 rape incidents were reported across the country. The IGP said during the period, the police arrested about 799 suspects in connection with rape cases. He said 631 cases have been conclusively investigated and charged to court, while 52 cases are still under investigation.
The police and other security agencies and other non-governmental organizations have been collaborating to see to it that these cases of rape and gender-based violence are dealt with. I will call on every member of, every Nigerian that has or comes across any victim of sexual offenses of rape or gender-based violence to quickly report to law enforcement agents, because keeping it without reporting it will give room for the perpetrators to continue to commit the offenses.
And on the foreign scene, the United States has withdrawn the emergency use authorization for 2 coronavirus treatments favored by President Donald Trump, citing their lack of efficacy and safety concerns. Chief Scientist of the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, Dennis Hinton, in a letter said it is no longer reasonable to believe that oral formulations of hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine may be effective in treating COVID-19. Dennis Hinton added that the potential benefit of the product outweighs their known and potential risk. To end the news, here is a summary of the major stories. Resident doctors at the University of Port Harcourt's Teaching Hospital, UPTH, have agreed to boycott the nationwide strike called by their national body. Governor Nyesom Wike has slammed the Nigerian Governors Forum for being silent in the ordeal of Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki in APC. We also told you that the former governor of Oyo State, Abiola Ajimobi, has entered into coma in his battle to survive COVID-19 as the serving Lagos senator, popularly called Pepperito, has died of high blood pressure. And on the foreign scene, you heard that the United States have withdrawn the emergency use of chloroquine to treat coronavirus. And that also news edited by Victor Isiama. For comments and inquiries, please call 081-53418-657 or 081-4434-3502. Send your emails to news@todayfmlive.com. You can also read our stories on www.todayfmlive.com. Do not forget, take responsibility. Wash your hands frequently with soap and running water. Avoid touching your face in high contact surfaces to prevent coronavirus. And that's our package on the news this morning. I am Buchira Fwa. Good morning. Do stay tuned. Today's quest is on.
Today's news, today's entertainment, today's sports, today's issues. Today on Today 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM. 95.1 FM. Voice of the people.
And we're back.
They're saying that the explanation given by the military.
Talk radio. I listen to a lot of talk radio.
95.1 FM.
Welcome to the Peak Breakfast Show, brought to you by Peak Milk.
Good morning, everyone. You're welcome to the Monday edition of the Peak Breakfast Show, proudly brought to you by Peak Milk. This show is where we talk about the amazing success stories of some of the world's biggest and your favorite sports stars. We do this because we want to inspire you to be better and driven on your way to the peak of your career. Because as Peak Milk always says, it's in you. You can listen to this show every Monday and Friday on this station. And at this time, as we bring you different success stories of some of your favorite sports stars to help inspire you in all that you do. On the show, we present you with the success story of one big sporting icon from different sports to tell you all about their successes as we prove to you that just like these stars, you can also be great. Also, we'll serve you to a great recipe to help you stay nutritious and healthy, as well as a productivity tip to help you reach the peak in your career and in life. Don't forget, guys, you can stay connected with Peak Milk on social media. On Twitter, simply follow at Peak Milk, and on Facebook, like the Peak Milk page located at www.facebook.com/Peak Milk. We'll tell you more about the show when we return, but first, let's go on a break.
He's my son.
Hey, I know, Mama. He's also my husband.
Some people say wives and mother-in-laws don't get along well. They obviously haven't met my wife and my mom. They are practically like sisters.
Hey, Mama, you know that new shiny George material? I bought one for you and one for me.
And me, I've already seen 2 new shoes for both of us that will match.
Oh, Mama, thank you.
Wait, who's paying for it?
You, of course.
See what I mean? But if there's one place they are very different, it's in their choice of Peak Milk. While my mother likes
Peak Filled for me, please,
because it has low cholesterol, while my wife prefers
Peak Full Cream for me, honey,
because it's rich and creamy. So, whether it's Peak Filled Milk with its low cholesterol or Peak Full Cream that's rich and creamy, choose your Peak today.
Peak. Reach for your peak.
Reach for your peak.
It really gets me going.
And listen to the Peak Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. This is still the Peak Breakfast Show. On today's show, we present you a man who is regarded as undoubtedly the best African player never to play in Europe or anywhere else outside of the continent of Africa. His name is Mohamed Aboutrika.
Mohamed Aboutreka is an Egyptian retired professional footballer who played as an attacking midfielder and a forward. He was born on the 7th of November 1978 and is widely considered the best Egyptian player in history as well as one of the greatest African footballers of all time. He also came second in the African Footballer of the Year award in 2008 after Emmanuel Adebayor. He was amongst the top 5 nominees for the 2006 award and one of the 10 nominated for the 2013 award. Aboutreka won his first of 2 AFCON trophies in 2006 with the Egyptian national team. He also scored the winning goal to help Egypt win the 2008 edition of the championship. He helped his club Al Ahly to win the bronze medal in the FIFA Club World Cup in 2006. In his prime, Aboutreka was a fine, versatile player who combined finesse, matchless team play with great work rate and was a constant source of goals and inspiration for club and country throughout his long, illustrious career. After a 4-3 loss to Brazil in the 2009 Confederations Cup, Italian sports journalist Gabriel Macotti, having been highly impressed with Aboutreka's performance, praised Aboutreka's career with football in general. He is possibly the greatest footballer in the history of the world with a bachelor's diploma in philosophy hanging on the wall of his sitting room. He is arguably the best footballer on earth, not plying his trade in Europe or South America, and does staying in Egypt make him gutless and unambitious because he won't measure himself against the world's best on a regular basis, or in fact, should he be admired for remaining loyal to his homeland, simply being happy with what he has achieved and not feeling the need to chase the glamour and the millions of the Premier League or La Liga. Amongst his notable achievements are 7 Egyptian Premier League titles with Al Ahly, 5 CAF Champions Leagues, 4 CAF Super Cup, and a host of Egyptian Cups and Egyptian Super Cups. With the Egyptian national team, he won the AFCON in 2006 and in 2008, which were Egypt's record 5th and 6th championships, respectively. Individually, Aboutreka was untouchable. He won the Egyptian Player of the Year 4 years consecutively from 2005 to 2008. He made the CAF Team of the Year in 2006, 2008, 2012, and in 2013 at the age of 34. In the 2 years he conquered Africa with Egypt, he was included in the team of the tournament, just as he was in the 2009 CAF Confederations Cup team of the tournament. He has won the most Africa-based Player of the Year award on 3 occasions. In addition, he finished as the top scorer in the 2005-2006 Egyptian Premier League. In the same year, he emerged as the CAF Champions League top scorer as well as the Club World Cup highest goal scorer. And in the 2009 Confederations Cup, he finished with the joint most assists in the tournament. In addition to being a consummate professional and being loved by all as a great example on and off the pitch, Aboutreka is a graduate of the Cairo University with a Bachelor of Arts degree in philosophy. Indeed, Aboutreka showed with his enviable career that we all can succeed anywhere, irrespective of our background and location. That's our peak personality of the day. Let's go on a quick break, and when we come back, the show will continue.
Hey, when I just start this my mechanic work, me and my oga, we be like cat and mouse. Every time, not so shout.
Moshood, where the 10-11 flats now?
As time con dey go, me and my oga, we con gel well. When we watch ball, na the same team we dey support. If we want con chop, na the same kind food. Especially Shaki and Bokoto, we get PhD. But on top all our collabo, our milk dey different. As my oga, they like pig-filled milk, ready for blue sachet. It con get low cholesterol. Why me, Atanda Gidigba, on top pig full cream milk, where they rich, come they creamy well. Make yourself begin to choose your peak today.
Peak. Rich for your peak.
Good morning. Did you have your peak breakfast today? For milk that's rich and creamy, choose Peak Full Cream Milk. And for milk that's low in cholesterol, choose Peak Filled Milk. Whatever you do, choose your peak today. When it comes to most things in life, people are often divided into 2 categories. Take writing, for example. You're predominantly left-handed or right-handed. If you play football, your left foot is either your predominant feet or it's your right. Of course, there are also those who can use both hands and feet efficiently, but everyone falls on one side or the other of the line. This also applies to other aspects of life, like your eating habits. For example, you're either one of those who pour the cereal in before adding milk, or you're one of those who add the milk and then pour the cereal in. But if there's one area where people are classified into 2 distinct groups, well, it's in how they prepare their breakfast. While some prefer to use their Peak Full Cream Milk that's rich and creamy and has a golden swirl at the bottom right corner, there's another group of people who love their Peak Filled Milk that's low in cholesterol and has a blue swirl at the bottom right corner. That's why Peak Milk has two distinct variants. The Peak Full Cream Milk that's rich and creamy, as well as the Peak Filled Milk that's low in cholesterol. Both of them come in small sachets. You can also get them in evaporated tins and large pouches. That way, when you choose any size that suits you, you can be rest assured that you're getting quality nourishment from Nigeria's #1 dairy brand, Peak Milk. So go ahead and choose your ever-nourishing Peak Milk today.
Peak Breakfast Show.
Success, motivation, nutrition.
Welcome back. This is Peak Breakfast Show brought to you by Peak Milk. As always, we provide you valuable and practical tips to help inspire you in whatever field you find yourself. Today's tip is about sharpening the axe. Time spent getting better at tasks saves time on those tasks in the future. There's a famous quote attributed to Abraham Lincoln that goes, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first hour sharpening the axe." In a modern example, Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger attribute much of their success to reading. By spending a lot of time reading, becoming more knowledgeable, and getting better at their trade, they were able to make faster and more accurate decisions. As Munger once said, neither Warren nor I is smart enough to make the decisions with no time to think. We make actual decisions very rapidly, but that's because we spend so much time preparing ourselves by quietly sitting and reading and thinking. Dedicate time to improving, and you'll be able to respond more efficiently to a variety of situations. That's it on our productivity tip. Let's go on our final break, and we'll return with a peak recipe of the day.
Some people say wives and mother-in-laws don't get along well. They obviously haven't met my wife and my mom. They are practically like sisters.
Hey, Mama, you know that new shiny George material? I bought one for you and one for me.
Wait, who's paying for it?
You, of course.
See what I mean? But if there's one place they are very different, it's in their choice of Peak Milk. While my mother likes
Peak Filled for me, please.
because it has low cholesterol, my wife prefers
Peak Full Cream for me, honey.
because it's rich and creamy. So, whether it's Peak Filled Milk with its low cholesterol or Peak Full Cream that's rich and creamy, choose your Peak today.
Peak. Rich for your peak.
Peak Breakfast Show. A little bit of everything you need to reach your peak.
Welcome back. It's still Peak Breakfast Show brought to you by Peak Milk. It's the final stretch on the show, but we will not leave without serving you our recipe for the day. Today, we have Peak Milk banana fritless. We'll consider this a perfect dessert. The ingredients you need to make this are 4 medium bananas, 1 cup cake mix, half teaspoon of cinnamon, 3/4 cup Peak evaporated milk, and you need oil for frying. Now, how to prepare this? You peel and mash bananas using a fork in a large bowl. Next, you add the pancake mix, cinnamon, Peak evaporated milk, and mix very well until it is combined. Heat your oil in a pan on medium heat. When it's hot, scoop batter using ice cream scoop or a scoop spoon. Fry till brown, turning its sides often. Set on a paper towel to dry out excess oil. Transfer it to a fancy bowl. Sprinkle confectioner's sugar on the banana fritless using a sieve. Again, to prepare your Peak Milk banana fritless, you need 4 medium bananas, 1 cup of cake mix, half teaspoon cinnamon, 3/4 cup Peak evaporated milk, and oil for frying. To prepare it, peel and mash the bananas using a fork in a large bowl. Then add the pancake mix, cinnamon, Peak evaporated milk, and mix till well combined. Heat the oil in a pan on medium heat. When it's hot, scoop batter using ice cream scoop or a scoop spoon. Fry till brown, turning its sides often. Set on a paper towel to dry out the excess oil and transfer it to a fancy bowl. Sprinkle confectioner's sugar on the banana fritless using a sieve. So after that, all you do is enjoy. All right, guys, it's a wrap on the week starter edition of the Peak Breakfast Show. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing the show your way. And please tell someone to tune in on Friday for another edition at the same time and on the same dial as we bring you another interesting episode of the Peak Breakfast Show. Remember, you can always link to Peak Milk on social media by following on Twitter at Peak Milk and liking the Peak Milk Facebook page located at www.facebook.com/Peak Milk. Until Friday, when we deliver another package of Peak Breakfast Show, stay healthy and keep taking the nutritious and delicious Peak Milk.
Thanks for listening to the Peak Breakfast Show. Brought to you by Peak Milk.
For the best and most incisive sporting reports, tune in to Sports Attack on Today95.1 FM every week morning at 7:30 a.m. My name is Daniel Igale, President of the Nigeria Wrestling Federation. I also listen to the show.
Beautiful morning to you all, and welcome to yet another edition of Sports Attack on your premium talk news and sports radio station, Today 95.1 FM, right here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. My name is Wisdom Obinan. I'll be bringing you up to speed with all the latest and trending sports stories making the rounds in the world of sports. All right, quickly, let's start off with cricket, where President of the Nigerian Cricket Federation, Professor Yahaya Okwenya, says the federation will focus more on female cricket post-COVID-19. In the chat on a TV program monitored by Sports Attack, Professor Okwenya disclosed that they will be paying even more attention to female cricket in Nigeria, as the country still lags behind in female participation in the wicket and batting game.
We have very important plans for the female cricket, and we are on the verge also of employing for the first time a female cricket services manager for the federation who will oversee female cricket specifically. The other thing we have planned is that 50% of the resources for grassroots development will go to the girls, because we feel that this is an area that we can work on. So 50% of the investment in grassroots development will be for females. And again, we have the female competitions, that are going to continue regularly, interstate female competitions, that we see that those crop of players that are playing at the moment are competing regularly, and we're getting the best out of them. But what I can tell you is that whatever we put into the male cricket, we are also equally putting into the female cricket as well.
All right, the president went further to highlight some of the profits that the federation had realized from its partnerships with other major cricket playing countries.
I can tell you that even during this COVID-19, a lot has been going on. For instance, now, as a result of these partnerships, we are for the first time going to have a properly contracted foreign coach. A lot went on for a while in the background, and we believe that by the time people can travel, the coach will come for unveiling. I can tell you that this gentleman is a world-class person in terms of his cricketing pedigree. Was a World Cup winner and played for many years for Sri Lanka. So that's something that has come out of that partnership. I can also tell you that Australia Cricket has sent us some equipment. They're at the moment in South Africa, because they've been shipped through South Africa. Again, COVID-19 has slowed everything down.
All right, we hope to see how that one pans out for the Federation of Cricket in Nigeria. Let's talk boxing.
No, I don't know. Marissa Suleiman says a lot of things and don't do a lot of things. I don't know, I have no idea what to say. It makes me angry, and it's frustrating that he's saying one thing, then he's doing another thing. Number one, Tyson Fury refused to fight me in a WBC mandated fight for the WBC Diamond Belt. Secondly, they took my mandatory away and gave Tyson Fury the mandatory position after fight Atta Wallin. They mandated him to fight me for the Diamond Belt. Then they took it away. But after Tyson Fury refused to fight me, he refused. It wasn't me that refused. I accepted the fight that was mandated by the WBC. He refused to fight me, and then after I'm being punished, and they rewarded him for fighting Tom Shorts after being off for 3 years. This is a joke. It's an absolute joke.
That was Dillian White last week when he was furious. Well, he has gone a step further. The WBC have confirmed that they have a legal procedure against them from Dillian White concerning the date of his mandatory heavyweight title fight. White is the mandatory challenger for the WBC belt after beating Oscar Rivas via unanimous decision in a final eliminator last July. The Brit is currently the WBC interim champion, and his mandatory bout is set to take place by February 2021. That bout would currently be against Tyson Fury after he defeated Deontay Wilder in their rematch earlier this year, although the pair are scheduled to fight for a third time later this year. However, a Fury versus White clash is now in doubt after it was revealed that the former has agreed to two mouth-watering unification fights against WBA, IBF, WBO and IBO champion Anthony Joshua in 2021. As a result, White has pursued legal action